Hey guys! So one of today's topics is going to be copyright and long-term storage issues in digital archiving and preservation. So the research questions I used while writing this paper were: 1. What are current copyright and long-term storage issues? 2. What are some solutions to these issues? And 3. What solutions are currently being implemented? So no one drowns, let's get some quick definitions in first. So the first quick definition answers the question, what is a digital archive? So according to the 2005 Archivematica definition, digital archives are repositories that store collections of digital information with the intention of providing long-term access to the information. Digital archives can be sophisticated, multi-tiered storage systems, or simply a C drive on someone's home computer. The second definition answers the question, what is born digital content? Born digital content is content that is created in a digital form with the purpose and understanding that the content is primarily meant for storage and use in digital form. Section 1. Copyright issues. If archives don't physically own something, can they preserve it? We all know the consequences for copyright violations are usually very extreme. The consequences usually involve someone being arrested by the police, thrown in jail, and having to pay a very large fine. There are 4 types of copyright exceptions that help to protect archives and libraries. The first is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, or the DMCA, which allows for safe harbors for archives and libraries. The second is Section 108, which allows archives and libraries to make up to 3 copies of copyrighted material. The third, and the one everyone is probably most familiar with, is the Fair Use Exemption. The last is Section 117, which directly relates to software preservation. Section 2. Long-term storage issues. Most of us know that physical archives will continue to gain material until they cannot hold all the material in their repository anymore. Digital archives allow for collections to be stored digitally, taking up less space than traditional archives. There are some problems with the idea of long-term as it applies to long-term storage. The first is storage media instability. The second is technology obsolescence and incompatibility. Third is a lack of metadata that hinders in the finding of digital items later. Last is a lack of clearly defined responsibilities for long-term preservation. In my recent experience working with legacy hardware, the biggest issue that we found was technology obsolescence. I found that 4 main issues factor into long-term storage problems. The first is how scalable that long-term storage option is. The second is cost, especially when you factor in the lowering cost of consumer-grade storage. The next is policy implications. A good example is that donors do not sign the contract with an archive's third-party vendor. The fourth is the need for succession plans, such as migration or emulation. Section 3. Solutions. So the first solution is a solution that's currently being used, and it is the use of deed-of-gift language to allow for copyright to be transferred to an archive. The second uses emulation as a service to allow for software to be treated as a service or a performance. The third solution is to invest in storage that is less prone to data loss or corruption. The last solution is to understand that the digital world is ever-changing, which means that a solution that works right now may not be a good solution in a year or 2 years.